it is the Hallie Quinn Show, the Q&A show, and here we are once again. We're talking about the healing spiral. Hope you enjoy those emojis. That was kind of fun to find and put up there. That's the topic today, and for anyone who does not know us, we've been hopping on every single week to talk about any topics related to self-love, transformation, healing. And we're here to talk about those topics because it doesn't get talked about often enough. So yeah, with that said, have you guys been feeling like you guys are on the healing journey and you work through this big, massive, painful experience, and then maybe a week or two later or a month later or a year later, you experience where that pain is coming up again?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. And you just experienced this literally yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are with smiles and everything, because I definitely felt your energy in your heart. I felt your heart yesterday. And so curious what that experience was like for you, and what did it mean for you, knowing that you were able to get through yesterday and made it to today. So what is your take on that? How did you process and experience that for yourself as you saw these emotions come up again? And you're like, hello again. I thought we were done. I thought we were healed in this area.
Yeah. It's interesting because it was like a week. It was like a week of
right, and it didn't stay just for one day. So
yeah.
It was building up over the week.
It was building up. It was gradually like growing
hello,
on itself.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. Like I'm not so far away.
Yeah.
And there were like a series of things that I can point to that re-triggered the feeling. But it was interesting because the thing that I was feeling again is like a pain place that I was stuck in for a pretty long period of time. I was just kind of like couldn't get through this like heartache for a while. And then I healed, did all my, been doing my thing. And then I kind of got through it. And it was gradual, but it got to the place where I was really like, wow, I think I'm through. I'm out of the woods. I feel like myself again. My heart isn't aching all of the time. And then I just started hurting
a week ago.
And it was probably I don't know, 6 months 6 months after feeling out of the woods. So, I was pretty confident in being through.
Yeah.
So then when I started hurting again, and I was like, oh, this is very familiar. I remember this pain, and I just was in it. And then I even texted my best friend yesterday and was like, oh my God, I'm back in, I'm back in. And I really felt like I had made no progress. And it felt like I was regressing, and it felt like I was moving backwards. All of these things, all of these stories that my mind was fearfully crafting, because I had taken so much pride, and not even pride, but I was so relieved to not be living every day in pain, that it was really precious. It was really precious to me to not be in pain every day, every moment of the day. So when I found myself feeling pain again, a lot, and crying again and doing the whole thing, I had to really be intentional about not shaming myself for being in pain again. And so I've just been processing it within the past day or so, or all week really. And something that I know as a healing practitioner and as someone who has been on an intentional healing path forever, is that we heal in a spiral. And so we'll do a big doozy of a healing part of our work, and then we'll kind of come out of it, and then we'll be good, and then we'll hit a deeper layer. And it doesn't mean that we've regressed or gone backwards. It means that we're actually like doing some of that deeper work.
Yeah.
And that might be, and we all have these like themes in our life that we spiral through deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, or like higher and higher and higher and higher, however you want to look at it. And you know, like we have themes. And I think what happens is that we associate certain themes with certain people, you know? So like I have a theme that I've been, you know, that whatever like got activated when my dad died when I was 4 maybe.
Yeah.
And then throughout my journey, I've had like instances that bring up that like that feeling of like losing someone that really matters. And so then I'll like have that spiral, and then I'll think it's really about like that person and like how much that person means to me. And not that it's not about that, but the intensity of my attachment to like wanting that person in my life when they're just choosing not to be, feels so extreme because it's actually based on my 4-year-old wound of my dad dying.
I like how you're bringing it back to the root of it when it started. Hi, Chris! Long time no see. We miss you, by the way.
Yeah, we totally miss you.
Oh my gosh.
Great to see you here.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's something that I've been just having to, just being conscientious of in this time around, where I'm like feeling this like longing about this certain person and missing them and wishing they were here and wishing we could be in contact and relationship, but we're not. And acknowledging that it's not so much really about that person,
Wow.
as it is about the core wound that's getting projected onto that person. And so I'm in like another layer of healing the core wound, actually.
Wow. That is deep, Hallie. That is so good. And that's what processing your healing looks like. Like you're going deeper and understanding where it's coming from, and how other people in our life that's no longer in our life is triggering the root of that. So I see that. I'm also seeing, you know how they talk about the onion and going through the layers? That's what I'm seeing, this spiral. It's like, okay, because if we know that we have been on the healing journey and it's been a consistent practice of ours, and then you're experiencing this other deeper pain coming up, perhaps you're hitting a deeper layer.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
You're hitting a deeper layer, and it's and then once you're like have that awareness, when you're crying about it and when you're feeling it and when you're in it, you're also can feel grateful too, because it's like, oof, like cleansing a deeper layer of this wound here. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for the opportunity to even like clear this out even more.
Yeah.
Like, looks like there's more here to be felt. Like, here I am showing up to it.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's your next layer,
Yeah.
which is the beginning. It's almost like we're having to go back to our inner child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love all that pain.
What about you? What's come up for you in terms of healing in a spiral?
Yeah. So mine happened in like a moment, and of course I continued to like heal from that, and I was able to like, it didn't like stick with me for a long time, but it was a certain moment, and perhaps I think the next day like it faded away, but it was about me and my partner were on a Zoom. We've been doing group coaching, and we were talking about why it's so important to practice self-love, why it's so important to express, allowing those emotions to have the space to be expressed, right? Because how can you free up the pain and invite the positive, loving thoughts to come in, and the important realizations and the understanding? And for some reason, when he mentioned, like Quinn, she goes to her videos to express herself, and then when I started to speak, all the emotions came out about how I wasn't able to express myself, and how long I was feeling like I was trapped or like rejected and stuffed down, and how painful that is. So I almost feel like my soul was speaking up for me, like just kind of letting me know, like, yeah, girl, you were really hurt. And all these memories came up, and the feeling came up so real, as if I went backwards, and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling what it's like to be stuffed down. I'm feeling what it's like to not have a voice. I'm feeling what it's like to be rejected and be in relationship with people who didn't give a shit, or I would say didn't have the space to hold my emotions, and how long I was in unsafe relationships. And I saw that, and I let myself just cry, let everybody see how hurt I was on Zoom. So it was a very brave, humbling, freeing moment for me, because there was a few people on the Zoom, and then my partner was right next to me. So that was like what you said, like when you're in the healing journey, you carry the awareness with you and full consciousness of knowing what's happening and allowing that cry to come. Like I had full awareness I was in a safe space, and I was full awareness, oh wow, well this is an opportunity. And really showing that I am human.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a coach, and also I'm working through my healing, and that lets people know that, wow, like the relatability is right then and there, because I'm sure I was speaking up for a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
And they can connect, we can all connect with that feeling of not being seen, heard, and loved. And not feeling like we can express ourselves freely. And yeah, that's why doing videos is so, it brought up the emotional and of why doing videos is so important to me, because that's my way of being free. And yeah, it was almost an appreciation for doing videos, appreciation for myself. Love came through that as well, as I was crying about that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it really makes me think about how, like, the beautiful thing about our woundedness and our trauma and our pain is that usually wherever we have the biggest struggle, that's where we're really here to like serve and give from. I love this quote.
Yeah.
It's something like, the seed of our sacred work is buried in our deepest wound.
Yes.
And so, like, you in giving this example of video and expression, like, this is something that I feel like anyone who's in your audience and who's in your follower just like sees how confident you are and how generous you are in this way and how powerful you are in this way. But when you hear the story where it comes from the pain of not being seen, you know, and not being heard.
Yeah.
And so that's where we can start having a lot of like gratitude for our specific wounding.
Yeah.
You know, especially like once we're in that process of transmuting it into service. And like when we have to feel like the source of like, oh yeah, this was like this is the hardest one for me. It like reminds us, and again, you use the word, it was humbling, like it humbles us back to the source of why we do the things that we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
And then we're able to relate to others who are at different stages in their pain points on their journey. We talk about this a lot in our videos, where like sometimes when you're like doing pretty good and you've had like a pretty like even keeled, you know,
like a flow, like
you've been in flow and you're feeling good and you're starting to feel really powerful and things are manifesting and your dreams are, you know, starting to come true and you're just like, ooh, I'm good, like I've healed. And then you go back to that place in your spiral where you have to like revisit, not even intentionally, it just happens. You have to revisit your deepest pain, and then it's like whoosh, brought back to earth, brought back down to like, you know, the humanity of being here in a body.
Yeah. It's also make me think about like, we've talked about this so many times, where when we can take a look at the places that we lack or that we have hurt so much and that we desire from other people. Yeah, the patience and intimacy workshop that we just did, we had to look at what when we crave and what is it that we're craving for, and that can give us an answer to where we're really hurt and where we get to heal and give love and affection in that specific area. And that's when we feel really good, because that's what we're hurting, that's what we're lacking. That area is lacking attention. And that's why we crave it from others. So much information available when we get to look at our pains and what it means. And when it's spiraling, and when you're going through that spiral, you're revisiting a pain, perhaps that's a sign that you are on your healing journey, and that all the tools, all the practices that you've been doing, it's prepping you for the deeper work.
Yeah.
Because that would mean you're done, if there was no more work.
Yeah.
And
then you wouldn't have a reason to be here.
Exactly. And I think about
graduate
growth.
from our school.
Yeah, and I think about growth like there's something about happiness connected to growth. When we don't feel like we're progressing or growing from something, we feel stagnant. So there's something about happiness and something very fulfilling in knowing that we're growing from something and continuing to grow. And a lot of that is healing. Growing from our pains, yeah.
And that, it just makes me think of like the one habit that I feel like this almost feels like my main purpose for showing up, because this shows up so much in my writing and in my posts and my work, is like the habit of being mean to ourselves or shaming ourselves when we're in a moment of pain.
Yeah.
Like it's a very weird thing that we do to ourselves where we're actually in a moment of growth. We're in a moment of evolution. We're in a moment of like tenderness or vulnerability or something really beautiful.
Yeah.
But then we layer it with this like shame and judgment and meanness, as if that's going to help anything. And that really, I think, is what actually stagnates our growth more than anything else at all,
Oh, yeah.
Which is why our next workshop is...
I knew that's where you were going. Yay! I was like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, it's the theme of deconditioning self-judgment. Because it's okay to be in pain. It's okay to feel your hurts. It's okay to spiral on the healing journey over and over and over again. What's not okay is to be an asshole to yourself about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this. This is so needed. And you're absolutely right. When we're in the growth, and that's why it's so important to be around safe spaces, to lessen the rocks being thrown at you while you're on this journey, Like, how can we make this process a little smoother? And if we can know how to heal that or process that negative thought into a positive one, can you imagine? Can you imagine you're healing? It's almost like that's the enhancement of your healing process. Great subject for the next one. Yes, we gotta address it. There's tools available with community and intimate setting. Magic will be happening in this workshop. So we haven't posted it yet, but just so you know, if you like the Self-Love Exodus page that we have right up top, you will see when it's available. But yeah, it's going to be deconditioning self-judgment.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about a child having a tantrum.
Oh, yes.
And getting like really in a lot of trouble for that, or really shamed for that, really punished for having a big extreme feelings. That's where we learn to shame ourselves, for having big feelings. And for people who had the types of parents who were consciously parenting in a way where they, chose to nourish and support and nurture, which is really hard as a parent. I totally get it.
Oh, yeah.
Kids losing their shit, like we start losing our shit and then we react. But we carry that feeling of punishment when we're having big feelings with us for the rest of our life.
Yes.
And so that's why we have to decondition that as a habit of our own minds.
Oh, I'm excited. Kristen says, I'm in. Yes. Who else is in? Anyone have self-judgment? Anybody? I think there might be a few of you guys out there. A little bit. Yeah. All right. With that said, we will see you guys next week. And excited for our next workshop. Make sure you like the Self-Love Exodus page. And also, we have a Meditate and Conversate group that we host meditations every single week.
Thursdays.
2:30. Yeah. With that said, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys would like to comment, even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and comment down below. And yeah, that's it. Any last words, Hallie?
Any last words?
Any last words? All love from us.
Yeah, just like keep keep being aware of what your thoughts are doing, especially when you're in pain.
Yes, baby steps. All right, see you guys next time. See you later. Thank you everyone for hopping on. Bye, Kristen. We see you. Bye.